You are watching the Pittsburgh Penguin Fan Show on Fan Media Network. I'm Joe Bartnick, a Pittsburgh Penguin fan. Joining me now, Pittsburgh Penguin fan, my great friend, puck-off co-host, the one and only Andy Piccaro. What is up, Andy?
What's up, Joe? Just watching Penguins-less hockey. So
Yeah, it's, there's no stress, no Flyers, no Capitals, just to get to enjoy Nathan MacKinnon and Peter DeBoer's idiocy for not playing Flower and giving away game one. The Lightning look ridiculous. The Fishermen and the Boston Bruins, that's fun stuff. It's enjoyable. But what we had in Penguin Land was the State of the Union from someone not Jim Rutherford for the first time in a long time, one GM, Mr. Hextall. And then on the Mark Madden Show, on the mothership, the flagship Penguin Network, on Madden Show, you had President, CEO, whatever you want to say, Brian Burke. So we kind of got those two, what they had to say about the season and looking ahead. And then we also had news on number 71, your assistant captain, Hall of Famer, Evgeny Malkin. We'll hit that at the end. But I took out four things from the press conference and the Burke interview. One is that at least on paper, or they're giving lip service to the fact that Jarry is coming back and he has their full confidence. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I remember when Murray was coming back with full confidence and then he was playing for the Senators. So you don't say, this guy stinks, we need rid of him, when you're trying to trade your goalie. So honestly, that's a hard read. That could go either way. I think that they didn't say that they're not, not bringing anyone else in to compete. So which is, I think, at the bare minimum what we'll see. But I don't see. I don't think that they're throwing him under the bus for a bunch of reasons. But number one, it just doesn't make sense financially to throw him under the bus, to say, hey, this guy's worth nothing. Who wants him?
Yeah, well, that's kind of what I'm thinking. That no matter what, he has nowhere to go. I don't think anyone would want him. Who's taking a chance on him? But like I said last year at this time, they need to bring in a professional goalie, not someone to teach Jarry how to be a man, which should be preferable, but someone that can play instead of Jarry and just eat his money until he's done. A great thing crossed my mind: Jonathan Quick. He knows Hextall very well. He can play a lot of games. Sure, he looked bad sometimes this year, but he looked great a lot of times too. And I think he'd fit in well in the room.
I don't know what his contract's at. I just worry about paying, upwards of maybe, $10 million, $9 million for two goaltenders that neither of them are going to win a Stanley Cup. That would be kind of a bummer to me, to have 10% of the salary going to two guys that aren't going to be the guys that win.
Well, I think that a very good Quick gets you a lot closer than Jarry. And if Jarry plays pretty good, if his 15 games he goes 10-5, then maybe you can move Jarry.
Well, look, maybe the Flames blow up or themselves up, or things happen in Vancouver and a goaltender becomes available. But unless it's a proven guy that's at the end of his career, or it's a younger guy that's gotten further than Jarry has as far as proving his worth in the league, I don't know that I'd want to bring him in.
I don't know who. I'm thinking Holtby. I think there's a lot of guys that I can think of. I just think that you're going to have to eat Jarry's set. You're just going to have to say, well, he's only paid $3.5. You just have to eat that and somehow get rid of the Smith or keep the Smith in the minors. Next order of business was 58 and 71. The core. If you look back and read the tea leaves, Jim Rutherford was way more dancing around the fact he may move Geno or he may move Letang. It seemed more definitive that Hextall is not going to move Letang or Geno. And Burke definitely didn't sound like he was moving Letang or Geno. They're talking extension possibly.
Yeah, and I think an extension for Geno makes sense given the money makes sense. And I don't know, I'm not inside Geno's head. For me, I think Geno would want to go somewhere else where he's going to make, still make 7 or whatever, or 8, which is a possibility in other markets that need jersey sales, need stars. And let's face it, he can still play. So it's like, I think it might make sense for him to make a lot of money elsewhere, and maybe even for longer term. I just don't know the Penguins will have that for him this summer. And the reason I'm not trade Geno, blow everything up. My trade Geno thought is that if they lose him over the summer for nothing, then, that's a huge problem. If they extend him for more than he's worth for longer than he's going to be good, that's also a huge problem. So I think trading him at the end of this year or before the deadline, maybe not the end of the year, before the deadline coming up, almost a year from now, a year and change, is probably the best recourse. I think trading him now, you don't become a better team. And if you're going on a run next year, you risk losing him in the summer. You know what I mean? So to try and win another cup. So I think that Geno's a very play it by year, and Letang, I don't think he's going anywhere.
I agree with the Letang isn't going anywhere. Let's face it, Letang played as good as he did since pre-stroke. I got no problem with Letang. And it's $7 million now. It's looking okay. It's not looking horrible. I think you just hope Geno accepts the fact he's not going to sign. Well, we'll get to him at the end. But his injury, I think you don't extend Geno. He plays everything out. See how he is? See how he's feeling. If he doesn't come back at all, you got 9 point change million. If he wants to come back, you give him 2 years at 7. He's worth 7. He was the second best Penguin on one leg in the playoffs.
I don't want to lose him for just nothing, though. If you can trade for something to another team that maybe wants to make a run at the end of this year and have him be a rental somewhere else. And again, that might not be feasible if the Penguins are in cup contention. But let's say they're not in cup contention and they can make a trade, a rental trade for Geno when they know they're going to lose him over the summer. So I think how the Penguins play this season and where they're at the trade deadline is really going to determine if Geno moves or not. Look, if they're in contention to win the division and win some serious playoff rounds, Geno's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere until the contract's over. But if they're bumpy, if they're a bubble team, if they're an 8-9 team, I think that's when they think about trading Geno, just to get that a little bit of that return back, to just lose him. You get that $9 million plus the return if you trade him at the deadline.
If you trade Geno if Geno plays reasonably well, as good as if he plays as good as in the playoffs, and he has 2 legs, he'll bring back a first rounder. You're not telling me Carolina won't give you a first rounder for him?
That's what I'm saying. You got to think about trading him. But if you're in a position to win a Stanley Cup, you can't think about trading him. You got to keep him.
No, I mean I'm gonna shoot for the fact that we're gonna need him for the run. Third point of business. Everybody's safe. All the coaches, which I don't know if Mike Vellucci would be safe in my mind. I thought that penalty kill stunk. And the goalie coach, he's only made 2 guys with pedigree worse.
Did they just back 2 bad horses, though? Like, that's why I don't know. That's why I guess you got to be on the ice and know more about hockey. Did they just draft and back 2 guys that just were always flash guys that showed flash? Because all goalies are good until they get to the professional level. Like, you can't even tell the difference between some of their numbers, besides the ones that are incredibly good. So, like, with that being said, like, they picked guys that had good numbers like everyone else did, and they got to the league and they just couldn't be consistent. They could show flashes. And I know that Murray won cups, so his flashes were much bigger than Jari's flashes. Much, much, much bigger. But they just backed the wrong horses. Jari got lucky. He made that all-star team because the way the all-stars are done nowadays. And I think they should have picked Geno anyway. I think that was a disgrace in itself. Jari, I don't think the goalie coach, I think he needs a psychiatrist. But he definitely but he was Matt Murray's guy, which makes it even worse that Matt Murray disintegrated. I don't know. Murray was never the same after his father passed away. And I feel bad for the kid. I mean, I don't know if he really was a guy like Jim Carrey or whatever, just had a flash in the pan. But it wasn't. I mean, Bennington didn't. I mean, he had 2 flashes in the pan. He won 2 cups. It wasn't 1 cup. I mean, he won 2. Well, to be fair,
Fleury won half.
Marc-Andre Fleury won a heck of a lot of games to lead to that 17 cup. And I know that, I'm not the biggest, the Penguins should have re-signed Flower, but Murray played incredibly well in patches, but he still, I'm not taking anything away from him, but he never showed a level of consistency that was ever, wanted from him. Like he could win big games, which is really important, but he's just not consistent. And over the course of 50 games, you need consistency.
Well, and you're absolutely right. And let's not debate all this right now, but I just think, and you can just give a 2-sentence answer. I just think when Jari stunk this bad, you got to get a guy who's not his friend. You got to get a guy that's going to they're not going to go to Fridays at happy hour. I want someone there to crack him with a 2x4. He needs a different coach. I'm sorry. He was terrible. He disintegrated.
I don't know what the answer. I really would like them to just get rid of him. I don't know. A better coach is going to help that. Yeah.
I've had knee surgery. Geno's had more knee surgeries than anybody. 4 to 6 months is a major knee surgery. Leads me to think one thing. We can go $9.1 million above the cap until Valentine. We can play the Tampa Bay Lightning card.
And also, I don't know, we gotta call our lawyer Jackie Childs or something, but I think we can now protect an extra player as well. Over the expansion draft.
You've been on this for you've been laying in the weeds with this for 6 months. This is great. Yeah. Well, you know what? In all honesty, I don't want to take everybody. I don't want to protect. Who are you going to protect? Please take my small forward, please.
I just always a sickening idea of somebody coming to fruition, like maybe Evan Rodriguez is William Karlsson. We don't know it.
I know. I'd be happy for him. Nice little kid, nice little guy. Go have fun. Go have fun in Seattle and go to the fish market, catch a fish. But goodbye.
No, I'm not saying I'm not suggesting they protect him. To be clear, I'm not suggesting they protect Rodriguez. I wonder if the Pittsburgh guy. I always forget his name, and I don't know why. I never used to. The guy who used to play for the Rangers, now he's in Vancouver. JT Miller.
I wonder if he'd do a Miller for the Snake. I'd like that.
I wouldn't mind that either. I want a little bit more back because of the youth difference.
I don't know. I think Jake was exposed. I think Jake was exposed pretty big.
Yeah, I agree with that one.
All right, I don't want to take any other final thoughts than for the week ahead or the.
Nothing. Just that we got to all sit there and really root for Tampa versus Colorado, because I don't think it'll be the same final if it's any other combination. I'm not taking away anything from anybody, but from what I've watched, the Tampa Bay Colorado final is just completely what my heart's set on. I know I said it last week. I'll say it again. That's got to be the final. I'm sick of the other teams.
The one I've picked all season. I think the other thing that would kind of stink is I don't want Tampa Bay to go back to back. I like to kind of keep that in our back pocket. But of course, I'll be rooting for Nathan McKinnon. It's gonna be sick. All right. Remember LinkedIn fan special. Fans connect with me on LinkedIn, and this show will appear on LinkedIn and comments and questions, and we'll get to them now that we're in summer programming. Maybe we'll have a fan mail show. There's just so much news coming out, and get well soon. Geno, I think he's going to come back. He's going to come back sick.
Yep. He always trains hard.
He played his ass off. He really did. What a shame. It's only crack a stick over Jari's head. I really don't want to see him as a Penguin again. I was mad at Simone, but it was like, it's Simone. Jari, just that smirk on his face. I'm going to see Wilson run him. Run him at camp, Tommy. All right, everybody. That's Andy Picaro. I'm Joe Bartnick. That's our show.
To host a fan show or appear as a fan on a fan show, simply create a profile on Fan Media's iOS app or website. Select your teams and make a short intro video on your phone. Show hosts, reporters, former players, and superfans can use our Get Verified feature and make an intro video as well, and our mobile newsroom staff will reach out.